she's taking my music. I'm not gonna be able to listen to my music. I guess just let roll through for a few minutes.
Or T-Rex of you.
Yeah.
What just that?
Yeah. Can't wait till that happens.
You did it. Summon the Mothman. You did it. Summon the Mothman.
Like, why? They better not use it.
You can hear me all right, right?
I can, yeah.
All right.
Actually, I'll just turn you off in Discord. I'm probably the one that has the lowest volume. Oh, yes, there it is. Discord freezing. Unfreeze Discord, thank you. Why would you touch me, Discord? Stop!
Yeah, you haven't froze on my end, so or am I
Oh.
freezing on your end?
Like Streamlabs is freezing, but I think it's
As long as it doesn't freeze when I make a face like this.
oh, I have to actually have the window open for it to not. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to do like a podcast where we just talk about Batman.
Wait, you want to do that now, or you don't want to do that?
No, I don't want to do that now, but I also don't know if I'd want to do that. Don't you think that would like suck? It'd be cool, but then like it just gets stupid heated. Because I would just say that George Clooney was the best Batman.
Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here with your bat credit card. Your bat nipples.
Yeah, the bat nipples.
I think Chris O'Donnell was a really good job of Dick Grayson, though. That's the only thing that I think saved the Val Kilmer Clooney movies for me. The Schumacher movies.
Chris O'Donnell. He was in both of them, right?
Yeah, he was Dick Grayson. He was Robin, and then in Batman and Robin, it wasn't so much a Red Robin suit. It was more of a Nightwing look.
Man, I don't even know if I remember that shit.
How can you forget? I'm Mr. Ice Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. Sing it! Sing it! Jason, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Oh, Lady Breeze, my border of love. This is a wonderful show. Uma Thurman also saved that movie.
Fucking Uma Thurman.
She wants to dance like Uma Thurman. Apparently, if I take a drink, I also disappear. Jing, where'd I go?
What the fuck?
Said, apparently, if I take a drink, I disappear.
Um,
Make sure it doesn't work.
it's gonna work. Oh no, you have to use your channel points for that one.
Oh, you changed it to that. Okay.
Yeah.
One guy
Yeah, I'm a jerk.
posting.
Yeah, that you can do. My God, that's bright.
What's that?
God, I hate this thing, man.
What?
I can't just go to my page as myself and look at Facebook to share the damn thing. It just immediately logs me into this stupid account. One of the things I told me that's fucking broken as fuck. These people been on vacation? Fuck it. Maybe I'll share it.
I shared it. Maybe you can share it off me.
Okay.
Amateurs. Hey.
Robert.
Yes, sir.
Rob.
Yeah, it's Rob.
Shawowski.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just change all your handles to Razor Rob.
Facebook won't let me.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried. I can put it as an alias that I'm known as, but I can't actually change my first name to Razor Rob. It'd be nice though.
You can't even make like a page as Razor Rob?
I mean, I probably could, but
Oh, like your Twitch and stuff. That's what I mean, like your brand.
I like the 2-7 dad.
Oh, okay.
I like. because I am a dad and I two-step when I can. So my knee doesn't blow out on me.
Alright. Well, I guess we could start whenever. I didn't expect to have a massive amount of people coming in, but... maybe at least Chuck could have showed up. Fuck is Chuck?
Where is the Chuck? Oh, well.
Chuck.
If you hear us, Chuck, you're missed. Hope you feel better. Your sickness.
You're saying your sickness. I did hear you. He did just tell me you were sick as fuck.
Yeah. He got whatever Morrow had, so.
It shouldn't have been kissing.
Alright.
Alright, Rob. Well, now that we're here, and a few weeks ago, that was longer than that.
Yeah, it's been like a while
ago.
While ago. I think I was off work with COVID and gaming every day with you, so it's been since January.
Okay, so months ago, I had asked, you guys were talking about cryptids, and I was like, what the fuck is a cryptid?
Mainly me. Just me.
Yeah, mainly you.
Um,
So go ahead and tell me what a cryptid is.
A cryptid is pretty much, it's short for a. Now I'm not giving you the Webster's dictionary, but it's a creature from the study of cryptozoology. And what cryptozoology is it's the study of any living creature that is seen or observed on Earth that doesn't fit into an actual animal kingdom genus, or it's like it's a hybrid or a humanoid.
So like Bigfoot.
Yeah, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yetis.
Okay.
Wolfmen.
Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, Loch Ness monster, and the one we're going to talk about today, which besides the Loch Ness monster might be the most famous one worldwide, the Point Pleasant Menace, aka the Mothman, which is probably my number one. If you maybe ask me next week, I'll probably tell you Flatwoods Monster or something else. You know, it rotates.
Okay.
But my entire honeymoon after me and my wife got married is based on driving down to Point Pleasant and seeing the Mothman Museum. So,
so there's a museum.
Yes, there's a museum in Point Pleasant. It opened in 2002, 2003, 2002. Which is the same year that the Mothman Prophecies movie starring Richard Gere came out, based on the book by John Keel in 1975. John Keel was the quote-unquote leading investigator into the 13-month stretch of the paranormal and weirdness that was the Mothman flap in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and the surrounding areas of West Virginia and Mason and Braxton County.
Okay.
It happened from November 1960. Well, there's sightings earlier than November 1966, but the main sightings happened November 1966 to December 1967, and it all kind of like accumulated, and the big finale of events that happened were the famous Silver Bridge collapse connecting Gallipolis, Ohio, to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, over the Ohio River, um, 10 days before Christmas on December 15th, 1967. There's a lot of, at the time in 1967, there wasn't a lot of connections between the Mothman creature, the humanoid, and the collapse, but John Keel kind of connected a bunch of dots, and theoretically, there was a couple eyewitnesses saying that the Mothman was on the bridge um, right before it collapsed. There's also witnesses that heard a thunderous, like, wing flap clap, like that you would hear from a mythical thunderbird from Native American legend, which we'll get into that in a little bit. Um, uh, from
Hey,
the Galapagos side of the Atlantic.
Welcome to the Skynet family. Metal up.
Loomis stream is just, oh hey, Brett's here.
yeah.
What's up, Brett? Brett
Thanks for the
there is
follow.
Brett there's a friend of mine. He has a podcast called Throwing the Door.
Oh, okay.
He has put up with my Mothman talk as much as you have. So,
Alright. So I'll go back. I want to stop you. Go back a
Okay.
little bit. All right. So when you say sightings, like,
Yes.
what do you mean by sightings?
There's through the 13-month
Thank you for the
chronicles,
follow, by the way.
there are multiple sightings of people seeing this creature. The original known sighting that became famous is the Scarberry and Millette sighting on November 15th, 1966, in an area now known as the TNT area outside Point Pleasant, which was in the 40s and 50s during World War II, and after World War II, it was a munitions factory area, and there's theories that the chemicals and stuff from the munitions actually created the Mothman. You know, it mutated in an animal that later became a humanoid moth bird-like creature that is the Mothman. There's other theories about there was in Native American and European settlers' time, there was a local native tribe in the Point Pleasant Valley along the Ohio River on the West Virginia side, led by a Chief Cornstalk. And actually, the nature reserve that the TNT area is a part of now is named after him, and his final resting place is in that nature reserve. He was murdered by European settlers after signing a peace treaty with them. And what happened was, speculation is on his dying breath, he cursed the European settlers and future generations of them. And how I brought up the Thunderbird a couple minutes ago, it's speculation that the Mothman is actually a Thunderbird from Native American lore that is terrorizing the area even to this day. There was some
Wait,
sightings.
you mean say to this day? So like, there's still Mothman sightings?
There was one sighting reported in 2016. A lot of people tried to debunk it, but it never got really debunked. So,
how did people debunk a sighting?
um,
Like, so
honestly don't.
basically, tell me what the sighting was. Like, what do you mean? So somebody sees like
Oh,
this giant
so,
dude looks like a moth. Like,
um, so the sighting in 2016, somebody took a photo of what they claimed to be Mothman on Route 2 outside of Point Pleasant, and people just kind of debunked it as shadows in the trees.
oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Now, the original
Let's see if I.
the original sighting that is known and tied to this with the Scarberries and the Malott that happened on 1966 on November 15th outside the TNT area, was, these two young couples, Linda and Roger Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, were out joyriding in a black '57 Chevy, in what is known as the TNT area now. And even back then it was known as the TNT area from the old abandoned munitions and the power plant. They were out riding around, doing what kids do, hanging out, necking, whatever. Uh, and
Hanging out
what?
naked?
Yeah,
What are
yeah,
you,
hanging
50?
out. Yeah, and well, it's the '60s. I gotta use '60s terminology. So, anyways, while they were out and about
Uh,
driving around,
hanging out
um,
naked chat.
they came down the road on this figure that is they're standing in the middle of the road that was, the reports usually say the Mothman's about 6 to 7 feet tall, with when its wings are folded behind its back, but when it spreads its wingspan is up to 10 feet, which is bigger than any crane or anything that it's compared to. Um, so these kids saw this 7 foot tall being with bright red eyes, um, standing in the middle of the road in front of their '57 Chevy, and it screamed like it used like a sonic scream at them. Yeah, that's them right there. That that's the Mothman statue. Um, that those people there, those are, yeah, Linda and Roger and Steve and Mary. Um, the Scarberries and the Millettes. And that's actually the newspaper article that was posted the next day by Mary Hire, which is another name that's tied to this along with John Kill. They were like the leading investigators on the case. Um, so this thing screamed at them, so they turned the car around and took off. And, a big '57 Chevy boat with a V8 in it. It takes a while to get up to 80 to 90 miles per hour, and they got a good lead on the thing, but out of nowhere, I think Linda was in the front seat with her husband. She looked over to the right out the passenger window, and the thing was flying with the car at 90 miles per hour, keeping up, just staring through the window at them, and then shot up into the sky right as soon as they got to the Point Pleasant limits. They went straight to the police chief, and they reported like, "Hey, we saw something weird out in the TNT area." And he even said like, "I know these kids. They don't do anything bad. They're not into drugs, blah blah blah." So I believe them. He woke up the local news reporter Mary Hire, and they went out and they checked it out, and like he felt uneasy. So the next day, immediately, which is really weird for the time and age, um, the sheriff's uh, the sheriff's office and them held a press conference talking about this sighting, which back in the 1960s was pretty much just like, if you did that as a cop, like, hey, I saw something weird and we're gonna talk about it, you kind of were committing career suicide. So, um, but that's the known first encounter of the Mothman. But there's actually a sighting 2 days before, and it's actually 78 miles away. Um, and it's 3 days before, on the 12th of November, in a cemetery in Clindon, West Virginia, which is near Charleston, the state capital. 5 men were out in the cemetery at night at dusk digging a grave for the one man's father. And he looked over to the horizon outside the cemetery walls, and there was a large 6 foot brown humanoid standing in a tree. And when it locked eyes with him, it just shot straight up in the air and took off. So that's actually the first known human contact with the Mothman, was that sighting 3 days prior. But the one that everyone always goes back to when talking about it being the first sighting is November 15th.
Waxel, you'd be scared to fucking death of the Mothman. Shut up.
So that's the first sighting, and then it from there on till December of '67, it was just pandemonium in the Ohio River Valley in the area of Point Pleasant. A couple days after that first sighting, a farmer went out. He had let his dog out to go to the bathroom, and his dog ran straight for the woods, like something was in the woods that he was trying to protect them from. And he heard the dog yelp. And at the same time, when the dog yelped, the TV, it was an old tube TV like the one behind me in the video here, just exploded. There was a lot of, during that 13-month lap, there was a lot of electronical issues. There was even poltergeists. There's a lot of other paranormal stuff that was tied to the creature. Um,
So like,
Lin-
what is this? And this is all like, this is all also covered in that Dustin Hoffman movie. Because I've seen that movie a couple times, but
Richard the Richard Gere
Richard
movie.
Gere,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. They cover a lot of it because like Gray Barker was the original person to actually publish anything about it besides the news in one of his 1970 books.
Okay.
But it wasn't popularized until 1975 when yeah, I'm losing my train of thought here. John Kill, who was later played by Richard Gere under a different name in the movie in 2002. He wrote the Mothman Prophecies in 1975, which covered every single interview he did and every single sighting, his run-in with the Men in Black, which is really wild when you read that chapter. Run-in with a local salesman and the Grinning Man known as Injured Cold, an alien humanoid that tried to warn them about certain doom that was coming and stuff. Yeah, yeah. There's
Wait, what?
yeah.
Okay, we'll go back
Yeah.
to that. But just yeah, okay. So go back to what you were talking about with the sightings in
66.
Yeah. Spooky
Um,
Doom.
Yeah, Spooky Doom. So there was multiple sightings in November after that. A whole entire family the next day was had a house out on the road outside the TNT area, and they heard about the incident the night before, so they went to the power plant where they believe the creature was, and
Wait, where is this taking place at?
in the TNT area, which is like the general area in
TNT?
it's called the TNT area. It's where the old munitions factories were. It's part of the Cornstalk
Oh, West Virginia.
Nature Reserve now. Yeah, in West Virginia.
Right away, Mothman stuff. Looks like a creepy place, bro.
Bunch of bunkers where they during World War II they held the munitions and stuff, which is what you're seeing right now. So they went back to the North Power Plant, which is a part of the old factory, and the Mothman was perched there, and they were throwing one of the 15-year-old kids was throwing rocks at it and stuff, and it took chase after them and almost flipped their car. And it's crazy.
So all this really started because some punk kid.
Nah.
Like, had they not thrown rocks at the Mothman, he probably would have let it all go. But since people threw rocks at him and shit, he's like, I ain't guess I'm fucking around. I'm gonna just fuck this bridge up.
Yeah, a lot of people think it had a lot to do with the Cornstalk curse.
The Cornstalk curse?
Yeah, that Native American chief I was telling you about, that the game lands there is named after, that signed there was a bloody war between the natives and the European settlers, and he signed a peace treaty, and after he signed the peace treaty he was murdered. And
That's fucked up.
with his dying breath he put a curse on the land for future generations.
Did you hear that, chat? Okay.
So
go, keep going.
there was a lot of people that tried to disprove the first sighting, saying it was like a large barn owl that swooped down at the car.
Kids throwing rocks at a creature from a different dimension.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Hey, it's typical human nature. You see something you don't know.
See something, you just throw a rock at it like a punk
You're
15-year-old
afraid?
kid. This is all started because some punk kid.
You're afraid. You throw a rock at her, you shoot it. It's
Oh, you shit.
Throw or shoot first, ask questions
Had
later.
it been any further south, it probably would have just got shot.
Yeah. So, and the family that was involved with the whole rock throwing is actually the family of the gentleman that runs and owns the Mothman Museum right now. So that's the tie-in with the Mothman Museum. The Wamsleys.
So have you been to this Mothman Museum?
Yeah, I have. I could send you.
I mean, I can look it up. What are you gonna show me?
Oh, I was gonna send you the actual photos of me like with the statue.
Oh, okay.
Should I do it through Discord or should I do it
Facebook.
Facebook? Oh.
So, Chad, I don't know if you want to poke. What would you do if you went in somewhere and saw like a big thing perched up on something? You gonna start throwing rocks at it? I mean, I don't know. Poke it with a stick. Hey, you! Get off that! It doesn't look like safe.
You scared our friends. Get out of here.
Throw a beer. I'd probably scream like a bitch. And fucking run, dude. I'm out. Yeah, poop my pants. I'd be running while pooping like the hippo.
Yeah, Brett wouldn't leave his house. He'd be watching Spenguli. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I came in face to face with Mothman. I mean, on Fallout 76, I usually freak out and try to run away because I'm usually in the middle of reloading. But my obsession with this, yeah, it's me with the mural on the wall in the actual tour area, and then I got a photo with the statue that they erected in 2003.
Wait,
That's the front of the museum. I actually got this shirt here from the museum. I think if you go right there, I'm doing the.
What?
I'm doing the Pit Boy thumbs up. So, yeah, that was my honeymoon. We went to West Virginia.
Interesting. So is your wife into the Mothman too, or?
Not as much as I.
She's just like, fuck it. That's what you want to do.
Not as much as me. Yeah, she wanted to get out of town, and I was like, well, I've been trying to do this pilgrimage for years. So if you just want to get out of town, you don't care where we go. Like we can hit the Mothman Museum, we can hit the New River Gorge, we can hit the Flatwoods Monster Museum on the way back, which we'll talk about another time.
Alright, so circle back to the Mothman stuff. I want to hear, like, okay, so how does somebody go from throwing rocks or whatever to a bridge collapsing? Because really, I mean, the bridge collapses, then you don't hear from the Mothman anymore?
Nah, literally, there was all these sightings in the 12 months leading up to the bridge collapse. And even months leading up to that, there was even a sighting in Beaver Falls, PA, as I'm looking here, that John Keel included in his book. Leading up to the actual Stillwater Bridge collapse, there wasn't any Mothman sightings. And even on that day until later on down the road, like, there wasn't any Mothman sightings tied to it until John Keel kind of connected the
So how do they know that the bridge collapse was the Mothman?
They really don't. Like I said, he connected the dots, and a lot of people from the area, um, uh, a lot of people from the area actually hate that it's connected to that because it was such a tragedy at the time.
So,
Um, yeah, 46 people died. Multiple people were accounted for. Um, it's 10 days before Christmas on the 15th in 1967, and
oh, okay.
a lot of people, since the Mothman appeared in 66 to that point, there was a lot of random phone calls where there was just screeching, like the screeching that they heard from the Mothman during the sightings of like the Millettes and the Scarberries and then the Wamsleys, like the kid throwing a rock and the car chase. The screeching sound that it made, people would just pick up their phone, random phone calls, they would hear that on the other end. Um,
I mean, now it's probably just some other punk kids prank calling, though,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I mean, theoretically, probably,
Like,
but
you don't think the Mothman is like at the local phone booth? Ching
yeah,
ching.
but
Ah!
there was a lot of electronical issues with TVs, radios, communication. Um,
So that's what can all be linked to like UFO type shit, though, right?
yeah, yeah, or interdimensional paranormal travel. Think about it, EVPs, stuff like that. And so on that day when the bridge collapsed, it was a busy day. Everyone's trying to get into town from either the Ohio side of the river, trying to get out of town to the Ohio side of the river to do their Christmas shopping 10 days before Christmas. And the
Aliens.
lights, the lights for some reason on the bridge on both sides were malfunctioning, especially the Point Pleasant side. So traffic was heavily backed up on the bridge. So a lot of people blame the Mothman for the lights not working because they worked perfectly fine the day before, and then out of nowhere, before the bridge collapsed, all day they were malfunctioning to the point where they had, like flag reports out there, like directing traffic over the bridge. Like actual, like police officers on one side of the bridge, like, hey, you guys gotta stop. We gotta let these guys go, vice versa.
Okay.
And so a lot of people say the Mothman's to blame for that. You also get the accounts from the Ohio side of the river where multiple people in Gallipolis heard a loud sonic boom that they credited to the 10-foot wingspan of the Mothman that may have forced the bridge to collapse. Um, and then the multiple sightings on the West Virginia side of the bridge that the Mothman was actually on the bridge before it collapsed, um, which didn't come out until years after, like 72. But like pretty much when this tragedy happened, nobody gave a shit about the Mothman. Like John Kill was still in town trying to ask questions, and everyone's like, "We just lost like fathers and daughters and mothers and sons and stuff. Like, why? Stop asking us about this damn creature." So
So like after the bridge collapse, the whole Mothman thing kind of just gets
there,
left behind.
yes, until Kill, like there was no other sightings in the area even after Kill released the book. Well, Gray Barker released his book with the chapter in 1970, and then Kill released his Mothman Prophecies in 1975. There was no sightings at all in that section of West Virginia, besides that one in 2016, which they debunked. Um, and up until 1999, when the Moscow shootings happened, there was no other Mothman sightings because there's a Russian ufologists, which is people that study UFOs. Like um, they they claimed that there was Mothman sightings before the Moscow shootings in 1999 in the town or in the city of Moscow. Um, there's the Mothman sightings in um, Mothman sightings in Chicago in multiple years between 2010 and 2014.
There's no way, Waxel, I would go looking for a Slender Man.
So.
That's not fucking real. The fucking game.
So.
Okay,
Yeah,
so all right. So kind of let's go back. So you said that this guy wrote a book. Okay,
Yes.
and the book is called The Mothman Prophecies.
yes.
And it's all about the Mothman stuff. But in this book, you said that there's the Men in Black.
Yes, which is like if the Mothman's the big bad or the anti-hero, the Men in Black are the other villain or the supporting cast of the villain. So these humans or humanoid-looking things came to Point Pleasant after the first month of sightings, and literally tried to bully the townspeople into believing that nothing was happening. There was no Mothman. There was no UFO sightings over the river. There was no weird phenomena with electricals. No the poltergeists or any other humanoid beings that they might have seen. And it's literally what we have in the the Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith movies is the commonization of these actual real terrifying things. Like they literally threaten to kill people to keep the Mothman story hidden. John Keel actually wrote in the book that he was visited by 3 of them at the house he was staying at. I believe it was Mary Hyer's house, who was the local reporter with the Point Pleasant paper. They sat down and talked to him, and while the one mainly he was focused on was talking to him, the other one was walking around the kitchen, reached under the sink, pulled out a gallon of bleach, and drank it all from him, just to prove that he wasn't human. And they ran.
So these are aliens, like alien bodyguards, or
there's aliens working for the government potentially, or humanoids that the government recruited. There's other stories of, because they all showed up in big black Fords or big black Cadillacs with government plates, and they all wore black suits, black ties, black glasses, and like the movie depicts them. But they would try running people's cars off the roads to scare them. Beat on their door at all hours of the night, try to get them to get things to happen.
So the real Men in Black is
it's not
real?
not the comedic thing we know them as.
Oh well, no, of course it's a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, but this isn't the only time in the short history of ufologists or the study of UFOs and the study of cryptids that these Men in Black show up. The Kecksburg incident here in PA, the Men in Black showed up along with the National Guard and took the UFO and samples from the dirt back to the Pentagon. They showed up in Flatwoods. They've even been tied to showing up of Bigfoot sightings and stuff. So.
Okay, so I don't know. So this stuff sounds far-fetched. So you mean to tell me, okay, so these guys show up to this dude's house and they're interrogating him, and one of them just drinks a bottle of bleach?
That's what he said in the chapter. Locked him dead eyes and just drank the bleach while he was getting interrogated by the main guy.
What were they interrogating him about?
What he knew about the Mothman, who he talked to, all the where he was getting all of his information from, if he believed there was actually anything going on that might tie this creature to the government, if the government released some sort of experimental being, or if the government had anything to do with the mutation of the Mothman from the chemicals at the munitions plants.
Interesting.
Pretty much, yeah, they were all every question they ever asked was, trying to cover tracks of the government's involvement with the Mothman.
Okay. So like all that goes through, and then the bridge collapses, and then we don't hear about the Mothman until 2016. Then they say that's not even real.
Yeah, they said it was.
So, wouldn't you think statistically that if the Mothman was being sighted left and right in the 60s and 70s, and then after the bridge is gone, he's not sighted anymore, wouldn't you think that that's probably not much of a real thing anymore? I mean, statistically, that's 70s to 2020, it's 50 years?
Yeah, I mean, even till, the sightings in,
Maybe he died on the bridge.
maybe, even with the sightings, it collapsed.
Chuck, you know the Mothman claps. Twerk, clap, clap.
So even with the sightings in '99 in Russia, that'd be.
There's sightings of the Mothman in Russia?
Yeah, in 1999 for the Moscow shootings.
Tell me about that.
So, ufologists had multiple sightings of the Mothman the day of the Moscow shootings in 1999. That's literally nowhere near where the actual shootings took place or anything. Just some ufologists have eyewitnesses of the Mothman flying around the city and perching like a gargoyle.
That's
and then
it.
then there's all the Chicago sightings in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Okay, well, there's more sightings right there. You told me there wasn't any.
Well, I said not in that specific area of West Virginia.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he did his due diligence there. A kid threw some rocks at him, so he collapsed the bridge, and now he goes on the next thing. Moscow and causing some shit and making people shoot each other.
Multiple sightings in Chicago, during which some of the bloodiest weekends of history of violence, gun violence and shootings and stuff and murder happened in Chicago. That's literally it. Besides,
and that can be linked to the Mothman.
Yes, because if you believe in the story of the Mothman, he's either a harbinger of doom or a foreshadowing warning.
A harbinger of death?
Yeah, harbinger of death or doom.
Like Starbuck? From
yeah.
Starship Galactica?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Where he's a foreshadowing warning of impending.
Were people in Moscow and Chicago getting prank phone calls as well?
No, nothing like that was linked.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure the phone calls were probably prank phone calls from kids.
Yeah, but it's hard to prank multiple TVs blowing up.
Maybe not the TVs, but definitely the phone calls. If the Mothman wanted to warn you, he just pick up the phone and be like, hey, little Joey Stevenson down on Farmingdale Drive threw some rocks at me, so y'all about to get fucked up. So, this is your warning, alright? You done fucked up. Don't go driving around on this night. Bye. Alright, Rob. Well, you tell me, chat. You think the Mothman is probably something that's real?
The Mothman's not real.
Nobody's talking to you.
It's not.
Cool.
Connor, go back to Call of Duty.
You too, then. My PC's a piece of shit.
Well, what do you think, Jay? because you're kind of a skeptic to everything.
I mean that one I don't buy that one. I think maybe that was a hot rumor that got like somebody saw something and then like it just fed into people's fears or whatever.
a lot of skeptics believe that it is like a pandemonium kind of side effect, and like that's what caused all the sightings. Because there was sightings the whole way from Point Pleasant to Grafton, which is north of Point Pleasant, towards us in PA.
It was tainted
Um,
water.
um, there's Robert Smith, who was a professor of zoology at West Virginia University, believed it was a sandhook crane that migrated too far north from the Everglades, Florida. But even the sandhook crane only stands about 5 foot tall.
You think it was the turtles? Get the hell out of here, please. A sandhook crane?
Yeah, West Virginia University professor zoologist at the time, Robert Smith, believed that it was a sandhill crane that migrated too far north. Um, there was multiple zoologists from the area that believed that it was just a large barn owl that everyone kept seeing, but I've never seen a barn owl with glowing red eyes and a wingspan of 10 feet long. His claim with the sandhill crane is that it was an overly large sandhill crane that was standing at 6 foot tall on its tippy toes, and the red eyes that everyone was seeing was actually that red on the top of their scalp and their forehead there above their beak.
Somebody in chat said, "So, in all honesty, what makes this different than seeing angels or hearing the seven trumpets?" I don't know. I never said I believe in seeing angels. What the hell are the seven trumpets?
The seven trumpets of the apocalypse.
Hell, I've never even heard that one. Aren't we supposed to
Yeah.
hear that during the first rapture year?
Yeah.
I was at a fucking rock on the range in Ohio, feeling the effects of paranoia.
Yeah, so there, that's a theory. The theory about the barn owl, the theory of pandemonium. There's a lot of weird and spiritual and paranormal and cryptozoology stuff that happens along that river valley in West Virginia that
You
people
think Rob
believe.
is the Mothman? No. He's too
Yeah,
short.
could be. I am too short.
He's too short to be the Mothman. I'm sorry. He's been passed up on that casting.
A lot of people believe that
Don't
maybe
start, Waxel.
we had a 30-minute discussion about Batman before this. Mothman actually gets his name from Batman. Like a lot of people put the man after the moth. There's a Batman.
That's about.
But a lot of people believe that this area of West Virginia is like a piercing of the veil, where the other side of the spiritual plane can pass through, because there is so many paranormal activity over the years there, dating back to the 1800s. Just other weird creature sightings like the Grafton Monster and Flatwoods Monster, and
I mean, that can be attributed to just West Virginia alone.
yeah,
And the people
like,
who reside there.
and it's like our history here in Pennsylvania with the Chestnut Ridge, all the paranormal stuff that happens in the Chestnut Ridge.
What the fuck is the Chestnut Ridge?
That is a story for another time, which I hope Chuck will join us on.
Okay. I don't know, man. See, when you say it's all based on perception, then yeah, because people probably one person perceived something, and then everybody else just kind of fell in line. Because when you can't explain something, it's easier to just go with the general consensus of that's what that fucking was.
The thing is too with Linda Scarberry, one of the first 4 teenagers that saw the creature, she was visited multiple times by the creature. It terrorized her even after the collapse. Um, like she would still get random phone calls of somebody just screaming into the phone, which could have been somebody pranking her, like you said. Um, but there was multiple times during those 12 to 13 months where she would wake up and she could just feel the presence of the Mothman, including one time in the middle of January in '67. She looked out her window and the thing was just perched on the roof at the end of her house, just staring at her. She said it looked lonely, like it was lost, like it was from another world. And it just needed help. It was cold, but like it
Oh, it
still.
could have been a very Sandy Hook crane or something. I don't know, man. The fact that it hasn't, like, nothing big has happened since the bridge thing makes me
Yeah.
think that the bridge is probably actually not related to it.
A lot of people don't think that it was just John Kill, trying to up the story. But with one or two sightings on each side of the bridge tied to it. Because there's no names tied with the actual sighting of the Mothman perched on the bridge before it collapsed.
What do you
But
mean? Like
like
nobody?
they're anonymous.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible that John Kill just made them up because he was well known in his later years in the cryptozoologist community of over exaggerating certain interpretations of sightings in his work.
I don't think
But
Mothman is something they made up to scare criminals at night in West Virginia, dude. It's West Virginia. You can't scare those people,
I think
especially criminals.
I think it might have been something that was maybe made up to cover up government involvement in the old munitions bunkers and factories at the time. Like they were cleaning something up there, and
I mean, that's likely when you get an area in a town that is off limits, and people just perceive a lot of things and get crazy with it.
that ties in with the Men in Black showing up and trying to scare people off, like off the idea of the Mothman and off the idea of the TNT area.
I mean, do you think the Men in Black thing is real though? Because that just sounds totally fabricated.
I don't think a humanoid person or the Men in Black drank bleach in the kitchen that John Keel was getting interrogated in, but I do believe that they were an operation of the government off the books that was there trying to scare people. There's enough first-hand encounters with them. In fucking background, one sec.
Rob keeps fading away into his background,
Yeah, I keep disappearing.
so he's just going to change it.
So I think that the Men in Black was a covert government agency off the books that did try to scare these people into believing that nothing was going on because something was actually going on. Not per se the Mothman phenomenon, but something with the government and the old munitions bunkers and factories. Because they actually had National Guard stationed at that area after everyone went out to hunt for the Mothman after the first like 10 sightings. Like there was hunting parties at the TNT area, like people gathering in their cars and their rifles and stuff. So I do believe that there was something going on there, and that they were trying to scare people off the trail by terrorizing them and driving them off the road and shit.
The PC came in.
Interesting.
I don't believe they drank bleach in somebody's, kitchen to scare the lead investigator, but I do believe that they were there to scare people away from the trail.
That's interesting. It's very possible that there are just some government officials flexing their weight. But I don't know. It sounds to me like, while it's a possibility that that is something, the Mothman is something that could be real, a lot of the stuff just lines into like, well, that could be coincidence. Like the bridge thing's definitely coincidence.
Yeah, the bridge, um, the bridge collapse was, there's a specific number for the I-beam, but it was a 3 centimeter crack in the I-beam, and that's what caused the bridge to collapse. And because of that collapse, they actually adopted, um, um, better inspection for bridges into law because of that collapse.
Somebody in the chat wants to know if you think cryptids could potentially be alien beings.
I think some cryptids could be potentially alien beings, Chuck. I believe that most cryptids, though, especially like Bigfoot, Sasquatches, Yetis, um, Snallygasters, you know, Loch Ness Monster, I think they are, zoologists, zoo genuses from the animal kingdom that we just haven't been able to study.
Or they could just be fucked up mutations from an animal.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That
if
we
you
have,
think there's so many human beings in the world that get born differently,
yeah,
try to watch how I say that. But I mean, you get born differently and look different. That theoretically, animals could suffer the same type of thing.
yeah, I
And maybe
believe
that's
so.
what that is.
I mean, look at all the like two-headed lizards and stuff from the Chernobyl disaster. All the weird animals that were born after the meltdown there at the nuclear reactor. Two-headed cats, two-headed this and that, two-headed cows, all from the radiation leaked out from the meltdown.
Yeah.
It's quite possible that a lot of cryptozoology, I believe, is just animals that we haven't been able to capture and actually put under a microscope. Um, that I'd say like 60% is that, and then the other 40% is thrown into the paranormal or the otherworldly weirdness.
Do you think that maybe at some point, um, like that type of truth would come out? Like last year, and I thought this was rather weird. It wasn't last year. Maybe it was 2020 when the Pentagon released all that UFO stuff.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, the Pentagon's just like, fuck it, do it now because nobody gives a fuck because they're all worried about COVID.
yeah. See, the thing about that is,
And it was like real. Like, you didn't hear about it from anybody. Like, oh, there's aliens out there. Who gives a fuck, man?
yeah.
Put a face mask on.
I mean, there's supposed to be information released every year. Classified files are supposed to get declassified by the government.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of files that have never been released. Kecksburg was in the 1950s. Flatwoods Monsters in the 1950s. They took soil samples from both of those incidences. The UFO landing in PA and the Flatwoods Monster in Flatwoods, West Virginia. They took oily soil samples back to the Pentagon. They took the literal UFO from Kecksburg on a flatbed out to, Area 51, the Pentagon, wherever, to analyze. And like it's been over 60 years for those the most. So where are those documents? I believe the government won't release that. I believe we'll get information maybe when our government maybe fails, but that could be next year, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now.
I mean, well,
No.
I mean, okay. That brings me to my next point. Is like, don't you think? I keep saying this. Don't you think? But I mean, it's 2022. All right, and then we could do all types of crazy shit. How come somebody just hasn't gone out there and nabbed one of these things?
I don't know. The theory with the Mothman, um, one of the theories with the Mothman is um, that it's an interdimensional being, that it slipped through the veil, it got stuck here for a year, caused all this terror because it was in a environment that it didn't know. Its otherworldly body was causing all these electronical interferences and stuff, and then it slipped back through the veil when the veil reopened after the bridge collapsed. I know I keep going back to the bridge collapse, but that's just how they mark it, 66, 67.
Yeah.
That's the Chestnut Ridge I'm talking about, Chuck, with the Kecksburg stuff. I'd like to have you in on that episode with me and Jay.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I mean, I just
Yeah.
think that with all the technology and stuff nowadays, that if like Bigfoot and stuff was real, that somebody would have just went out and shot one by now and said, "Here's a fucking Bigfoot."
But for every sighting that we hear about, think of all the sightings that we don't hear about because the people never get found.
Should I just reset my PC? Dad.
The people never. You mean people never get found because they get deaded?
Yes.
They get they get unalived.
Yes. For every, just talking about Bigfoot, or Sasquatch or Yeti or Windangos or, all the North American cryptids that aren't considered alien or interdimensional or other world, that are, natives to here from thousands of years ago. Um, there for every sighting where somebody got away, there's bound to be at least two sightings where people were never heard of again. All these missing people that go missing in woods that are never heard from again, no trace of them found. What if all their shit's in some cave that a Bigfoot family lives in, or a Bigfoot, pack lives in?
Oh, okay. I mean, that's possible. Big old hunting expedition went out and got fucking slaughtered. But then you hear about those people gone missing. I'm not trying to debunk anything. I'm not trying to debunk anything, chat. The whole thing here is I'm just trying to learn about it and fuck Amber Heard. Why do you keep talking about Amber Heard, Waxel? What is your issue? You guys are weird, man.
Yeah.
Chat, you're crazy.
Every time you talk about stuff like this, you have to come in with you have to have a little bit of skepticism in you.
Dude, I'm too old to go ghost hunting. Although you can go down to Haldeman Mansion, which is about 20 minutes from me. They do ghost tours. And that TV show, whatever, the Ghost Hunters, or whatever, that they were there on there, and they walked away with some shit. So like that's apparently 100% haunted down there.
Is it Mountain Monsters or Monster Mountain? It's a TV show on Destination America. They mainly hunt the West Virginian cryptids. They have had multiple evidence sightings of Mothman. People seeing them or capturing footage of them, or them or him or however you want to say it, the genus as it is.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to check out some of that, another cool thing I've watched that I in the last 2 years I've really got back into being into this stuff. Small Town Monsters. They do a bunch of small documentaries on all these things, and they have a Mothman one. And they have a Kecksburg one that's coming out soon. So you see.
Chuck says Ghost Adventures. That guy just amps up on roids and McDonald's grease for his hair and screams at his cast into fear. That's why they hear shit. I mean, that's also a possibility.
Probably. But I believe, if you want me and my take on this, I believe that something did happen in those 13 months, and I do believe that there was a humanoid creature at one time that is portrayed as the Mothman.
In just them 13 months.
In just those 13 months.
You think anything else is irrelevant? The
Yes,
Chicago stuff, the Moscow stuff, and the 2016 sighting, nothing to do with the Mothman.
I don't think. Maybe the Chicago ones. There's a lot of people that don't believe the 1999 Moscow sightings are real. They just believe people were seeing gargoyles at night on buildings, and they were like, "Oh God, it's the Mothman from Point Pleasant, the Harbinger of Doom."
Maybe they're actual gargoyles.
Yeah. Which is another. They're
Is that another
gargoyles.
cryptid?
Gargoyles are also considered a cryptid. Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's been living gargoyles in history.
Okay.
The more you know.
The more you know. All right, chat. Well, Rob, I appreciate you filling me in on cryptids and Mothman. Up until now, the only thing I knew about Mothman was the Richard Gere movie. I'm not too much of a skeptic, and I do believe that there is definitely more to the universe than just human life. So, and the animals that live on Earth. So, anything's a possibility. Whether it's aliens and another planet, another galaxy, or it definitely interdimensional shit like that. So let's delve into it more, man. Let's talk. See what we want to, what you can school us on the next time. It definitely looks like we have a couple ideas here.
I definitely think Chuck would be awesome to have on for our talk about Kecksburg, PA, in Westmoreland County, and the theories surrounding the UFO that landed there. Which one of them is his favorite. It is the Nazi Bell from World War II, the Lost Time Machine project from the German army.
Oh, that's a possibility because Hitler was into that shit.
Yeah, so Hitler was a lot of this.
When's the next episode? Next Sunday, probably?
Potentially next Sunday or the Sunday after.
Or something, yeah.
Either going to be bi-weekly or weekly until we run out. Maybe. We'll see.
Figure it out. Maybe next Sunday. Sounds like we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So yeah, until then, chat. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Check out Two Stepping Down on Twitch as well. He does a lot of the gaming thing, and he was tonight's information dump. So yeah, if you believe in the Mothman,
come watch me hunt it and kill it on Fallout 76.
yeah, there you go. And I will catch you. We'll catch you all later. What do you want to try to do it next Sunday?
Next Sunday, if not, definitely bi-weekly would probably work.
All right, we're gonna try to do this bi-weekly. Stay tuned. TTS, but without the payment. What the hell does that mean?
Information dumping.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
That's what started all this.
That is what started all this. Is stars with fucking 62-page fucking thesis on fucking Mothman.
And the Jay's favorite cryptid of all time that he doesn't know about yet, the Loveland Frogman.
The Loveland Frogman. Oh my god. Alright, anyways, chat, we will catch you later. I'll be back in just a little bit. Somebody fucking did it! God damn it!
At least in the end, at least kept waiting for this.
You didn't say the magic word.
Yeah. You didn't say the magic words, dude. You gotta put them in there.
Please.
Caps lock?
Say the magic word.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap.
Hate this
Oh,
hacker
no.
crap.
You need a Mothman alert now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a Mothman alert. It's just gonna be the phone ringing and somebody saying hello. It's Alright, chat. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, man, thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. That was fun. Hey, getting tongue twisted.
Give me a minute.